Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be doing a two-piece swimsuit. The bottoms will be a V front shaped kind of bottoms, cheeky on the back. And for the top, I will be doing a front bow tie. And I hope you guys like it. I did have it in my last collection for last summer. However, I will be introducing it again this summer, except I will be doing new colors. So for this particular video, we will be doing a nautical theme slash fisherman's theme. But yeah, I have done this style before, like you can see right up here. And I hope you guys like it, and I can't wait to hear your guys' comments. This is the bottoms pattern that I'll be using, and I do have the self and the lining. And this is the top pattern that I'll be using, and this is part of the ties from the front that I'll be using a contrast color for. So one thing that I do like to do is use recycled paper so that I can cut some sample pieces. Obviously, I can't do that for production, but I do end up doing it for samples so that we can help out the environment a bit. And this is the fabric that I'll be using for the contrast, as you can see. So what we're gonna do, we actually need to cut two of these because they will be folded in half. So we're gonna close them up like this, sew them up right there. So we only need two. We're not gonna need lining, we just need self for these. So what I'll do is I can fold the fabric in half. I was going to use these scissors, but I'm actually gonna go ahead and use this electrical cutter because sometimes my hands do hurt, so it's just easier to use this. And I do always add tape when I'm cutting, as I'm cutting actually, because it does hold the fabric and the pattern in place so that it doesn't shift around while I'm cutting the other side or the other parts of it. So it's just a lot easier. I sometimes use the weights, but like for small pieces like this, I just go ahead and kind of add a little bit of pressure with my hand so that the pattern and the fabric doesn't move around while I'm cutting it. One thing I do try to do is I use every piece of fabric that I have. So whenever I work on a design, I save any scraps so that I can use them later for other projects. For instance, like this fabric, I found this piece that I can use for one of the bottoms that I'm working on, and it's super helpful. And honestly, it saves you not just money, but it also helps out the planet because we as fashion designers end up being super wasteful with like fabrics and things like that. Not on purpose, obviously, but it just kind of happens. Like, and especially when you're cutting samples and working on designs like that, it's just we end up wasting a lot of fabric. So try to use every bit of fabric that you can if you're able to. I stopped using my electrical rotary cutter here because it kept getting stuck in this area, and I just went ahead and grabbed my scissors and started cutting this part right here. This is the bottoms, it's the front part, and as you can see, it has like a little triangle in the front, so we don't want to lose that part of the design. So I was really careful to make sure that I cut that. And also when you're sewing it, you also have to sew it really carefully so that it still maintains that V shape that we're trying to get. Once we have all our pieces cut, we are going to separate them and start working on the top or the bottom first. So I went ahead and separated everything, and I wanted to start off with the top. So we're going to have to sew all the self pieces together and then all the lining pieces together. And for the lining, we're going to leave an opening there. But for the self, definitely close all those edges. And we're going to use an overlock machine This is the overlock machine. You can also use a overlock machine from home. You don't need to have a professional one. But I just like to sew with these machines. They're just a lot faster to sew. But anyway, this is how it should look like. So just check all your pieces, make sure that you sewed everything right. For the bottoms, we're also going to go ahead and use an overlock machine and close all those edges, and do the same for the lining, except for the lining, we're going to leave a little opening at the bottom right there so that we can flip it inside out as well. In this area, we're going to actually make a little slit with the scissors. And the reason for this is because we are going to join the self and the lining and add elastic all around. And for this part, my sewing contractor, whom is also my mentor in sewing, his name is Carlos. He's actually helping me with this part. He's teaching me how to sew it so that I can do it myself next time. But basically what he did is he added one side first on the V area, and then he did the other side. And that's how we got the beautiful V shape at the front. And he's going to turn it just to show you guys that it's not sewn all in one, but you actually have to start and stop in that area. And once we're done with that, we're actually going to add elastic all the way around. And once you're done adding the elastic all the way around, you are going to flip it inside out through that little hole that we left in our lining at the beginning of the video. And that's how you're able to flip it. And that's the finished product. And as you can see, the front V-shaped came out really nice. And this is where the little opening is. It's actually on the inside in the lining part, but we can actually close that with a single needle or with an adhesive that we use with a heat transfer press machine. And for the top, he was actually explaining to me that we're putting the lining at the bottom first, and then we're going to put the self piece on top, and we're gonna face face to face. And he's just gonna show me how to start off the elastic for the top, and then he's gonna let me do the rest. So he's just kind of showing me, guiding me like where I need to put elastic, which is in all those pieces. But I'm actually going to add the clips so that it doesn't move around, and I'm actually going to do this slowly so that I can be able to do it the right way and not mess it up. If you do mess it up, it's okay. All you have to do is just unsew everything, even though it is time consuming, but honestly, it's happened to me so many times, so it's not even a big deal. Like, that's how we learn. And especially with sewing, like, I feel like it's such a delicate thing to do. And this is the finish. As you can see, it's pretty flat. This is all the top. And we didn't add elastic there because we're gonna add the ties. But that's what it is, and look how clean that is. Okay. Now I'm gonna do all of the bottom. And for this part, I did add some of my clips to hold the self and the lining, even though it's already attached with the elastic from the top part of the top, but I still didn't want it to be moving around as I'm adding the elastic. So for me, the clips are super helpful, but I know not everybody likes to use them, and that's okay. It's whatever works for you. But I prefer using the clips in this case, especially when I'm adding elastic. Also, because swimwear fabric tends to be like super buttery, soft, and slippery. So honestly, the clips are just like life-saving for me. I need to sew this one like this. And just leave the opening. So I need to sew this one. You can also add these clips to kind of help you keep the fabric from end to end in place. And then just move them as you sew the piece. Because sewing swimwear is really hard. It has kind of like its little tricks and it gets really slippery. Okay. When I sew the straps, I am pretty cautious and careful when I'm sewing this part because I want to make sure that I'm not cutting any extra fabric off of the straps with the overlock machine. And also the straps do not have elastic, so all we have to do is just close them out with the overlock machine. And I always leave the little triangle piece, the pointy part of the ties towards the end to sew so that I can do it like really carefully because it's such a small little piece. It's probably just like 1 inch. And I want to make sure that I don't cut off any fabric from the pattern. So that's why we just go ahead and do this carefully. And once we're done, we're just going to go ahead and flip the straps around, and this is what it should look like. Your straps should be like this, and that's where we're going to sew them on the edge. We're going to do this with a single needle, so we're just going to flip this back around outside in so that we can sew the straps, and then once we're done sewing the straps, then we can go ahead and flip it around again. But you're just going to go ahead and sew like this with a single needle and just back stitch it or bar tack it. Once we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and flip it around again, this time inside out, and we're done. And all we have to do is just do the close the little gap that we left open so that we can flip this. And you can do that with a single needle machine or a heat tape that we use. And this is the final result. I love how seamless it looks and how soft it feels. And I was going for a nautical / fisherman's aesthetic, but I feel like it looks more like Snow White, but that's okay. I just can't unsee that anymore. But anyway, it came out really, really good. And this is what we call a seamless finish. So if that's what you guys like, where it's not showing the stitches on the outside, that's what it is. It's a seamless finish. I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.